Hi, excuse me. Hi, everyone. It's me, Messy Jessie. There's more news on Janet now with her new documentary for 2 nights on A&E and Lifetime. What can I say? The news that are out there. It's old news. As a Jackson fan, I knew about half of the fucking things that the tabloids are reporting about now. I mean, her father put a stop to her plans to college. Yeah, we know that. No shit. She's been saying this for how long? That her father wanted her to do the singing thing, and when she wanted to be a lawyer. He even did it to freaking Latoya. Latoya wanted to be a nurse, and he pushed her to be in the entertainment business. Okay?
Coming across a little melody line she recorded for fun in her home studio. What parent doesn't want you to go to college? She said with a laugh. But he said, no, you're going to sing. I would have liked to have experienced staying in a dorm, being around other kids, but I was very, very naive, very, very shy, not worldly at all. I mean, it probably would have been hard for her to attend college, being a sibling of the Jacksons, even if she hadn't done the performing and been a celebrity at that point. Still being a relative of a celebrity.
But she could have taken at-home classes or something.
Probably would have been tough for her to experience that college dorm experience the way she
like thinks. Most people.
But interesting to see her wanting
most
to do
celebrities
that and admitting that she just wasn't worldly at all. She didn't want to include her last name on the cover of her debut album.
Old news again.
A&M Records at 16. Jackson began her
She said this like once or twice in an interview.
Largely uninspired by the music
way past.
Her for her first two albums, Janet Jackson.
Because she didn't want to be known as a Jackson. She didn't want to live off with the Jackson name. Blah, 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 blah.
Outside of the shadow of her family name. I just wanted to go by my first name.
So old news.
First album. I wanted them to accept me for me, to be interested in this for me.
This is so old news. As a Jackson fan, I've heard this before.
And they want to play on that, and I didn't want to.
So I'm not. I don't know whether to watch this or not because it's just going over old news. Things that I already know as a fan.
Soul Train. We used to talk on the phone as kids. She revealed in the confessional way before.
They encouraged her to marry
James. Was very much so attracted.
Yeah, we know this.
Latoya,
if you read Latoya's book, you will know this.
Now, James is the one that came out later and allegedly said that they had a secret child together.
Old news. Why is old news being popped up? Why is she pushing old news?
Shut that down by making it very clear that no, she did not have a secret baby with James DeBarge. That's not.
I don't think I like that title. Janet Jackson shut down rumors of a secret baby with James DeBarge. That's not right. When is it not right? You were married. What's the problem? What wasn't right? You were married. It wasn't like you were unwed and, I mean, you were two consenting adults. I mean, and I do believe that, I do believe in the controversy. I do. Because of the fact that we know how Janet likes her sexy little one-piece number outfits and shit. And during the time she was with James, what kind of outfits was she wearing? These overall baggy shorts, jeans, baggy clothes. And what kind of outfits do you wear when you're pregnant? And she was afraid of her career since it was just taking off. It makes sense to hide a child. And it is rumored that DeBarge did come out that they didn't know was a DeBarge, a female who was related to the DeBarge mother, to Chico and whoever, and James, his mother, makes her a grandmother. So who is this girl's mother? to make her link into. You know what I'm saying? Because if you look up the news report, there's a news report where it says that they did do a DNA test between the grandmother, which is James DeBarge's mother, and this girl. And this girl was proven to be the granddaughter. So who was the mother? Because she said she was put up for adoption when she was young. Very young. She didn't know who she was. So she went on a spree to find out who she was. Which I don't blame her. Any adopted person would. So I don't believe Janet on this one. I really don't. I'm sorry. I don't believe Janet on this one.
Right. Over on People, we got a little bit more a quote here that reveals
there's more evidence of her being
no,
pregnant
she
than
didn't have an alleged secret
isn't
baby raised by her
of her
sister
being
Remy or
not
Jackie. Back in the day, they were saying that I had a child and kept it secret. I could never keep a child away from James. How could I keep a child from their father? I could never do that. That's not right.
Oh, yes, you did. If it was your career in jeopardy, if you put your career in jeopardy and you've seen how James was at the time, you made a decision as a parent to give up that child to someone so the child would have a better life. So you would be a better parent to that child. Okay? Because she did not want a child with a father who's a drug addict. Because he was a drug addict at that time. He had problems. He had mental and emotional problems. So would you want to be pregnant, married to a drug addict, have your career be almost over with as soon as it began? What would you do with that child? You give it up for adoption or you abort it. And she wouldn't abort it because due to the fact that it's against her Jehovah Witness religion that she was brought up in. So what was she to do? Give it up for adoption. Bam. There's your
She rattled off a
proof
laundry
right
list
there.
of things she'd heard about herself over the years, including that her niece Brandy was actually her daughter, that she gave her child to brother Jackie to raise, and that brother's Randy's daughter, Stefania, was actually her daughter because they looked so much alike. Jackson also hinted at where the rumors may have began, said that while she was filming the show Fame, she started taking birth control pills, which caused the weight gain. There she is with...
You don't gain weight with birth control. You lose weight.
A lot of the kids thought I was pregnant because I had gained weight, and I just started taking birth control pills. And back then, you could pick up weight taking them, and that's what happened to me. So that rumor started to go around. So there she is, killing all these
She's
rumors,
trying
secret
to cover
babies and
her ass.
relationships, Brandy, etc. Ridiculous. But yeah, a lot of the kids thought she was pregnant because of that. She eventually welcomed a son, Issa, in 2017, married DeBarge in 1984 when she was just 18. She describes him as a sweet guy. Jackson revealed it was his frequent drug use that caused their marriage to crumble just after 1 year. When we got married and came back to the hotel, he said, "Okay, I'll be right back," she recalled of their wedding night. And I'm sitting in the hotel room in Grand Rapids, Michigan by myself, just 18, and for 3 hours, he never came back. I don't know, maybe it's the person in me that wants to help people subconsciously when it comes to relationships somehow. I'm attracted to people that use drugs, she admits. She spent many nights searching the streets for DeBarge and would try to flush his pills down the toilet. We would be rolling on the floor fighting for them, and that's not a life for anyone, she said. I sit and I say, were you stupid? Were you dumb? But it wasn't that. I cared so much for him, and I saw the good in him, as well as I just wanted to take that precedence as opposed to this ugliness, because I knew that he needed help, but I wasn't the help that he needed. The year-long union was eventually annulled. I was just incredibly innocent, Jackson said in the documentary of her time together. That's the thing, is the innocence. And it's just hurtful for someone to see that and just try to take advantage of that. It's still painful. So there's more information. Finally, her speaking up on that secret.
Well, you want a child to be born to someone who was rolling around begging for drugs and stuff like that, who needed help. You wouldn't be there for the child. You'd be more into getting those drugs than the kids. So it was more pro to get rid of this kid than to
However, the
I'm
singer's
sorry,
closing
but
marriage was in
you
trouble from the
wouldn't
start.
gain that
Eventually,
much weight
the murder
on
of drugs, and a lot
freaking
of
birth
nights I
control
woke up
pills.
searching the
I
streets looking for
should
him at 3
know.
o'clock, 4
I
o'clock in the
was
morning.
on birth
There were
control.
times when I find the pills and I take them.
We
and
all
start fussing,
females were
and
on
we'd
birth
be rolling
control
around
pills.
the floor
Come
fighting
on,
for
tell
them.
me
It's
if
not a life
we are
that
not
once.
lying. We do not gain
Such
that
same
much
sort
weight.
of thing, but talks very how that was very painful. Again, we just got through that. There were rumors flying around like honey and hash in a diner. But what was sticking on the wall was, where was the baby? Nobody saw a baby. I mean, she was there all day, every day. Where was the baby? Where, who, where, said Debbie Allen. A lot of other guests and celebrities speaking up and on their experience to sort of back up or clarify a bit more things that Janet puts out there. So it does sound like it's going to be a good, well-rounded.
And there are people
First
gonna
ever seen
back
Randy
Janet up
was my
because she's
daughter,
paying them to do so.
This is the same one we were.
Okay? Janet has money,
She said she
okay?
could have never.
Because of her last name.
She
Okay.
also revealed some stuff about Michael. She's going to talk about Michael. I think she's going to talk more about Michael in parts 2 and 3. But she acknowledges that her relationship with Michael changed when Thriller was released. It was obviously a huge hit for Michael. It was Thriller. That's when it all started changing, she said. Whenever Mike would do an album, he'd throw me in his car and we'd listen to it from front to back to see what I thought. I remember really loving the Thriller album. But for the first time in my life, that's when I felt it was different between the two of us, that a shift was happening. That's the time where Mike and we kind of started going our separate ways. We weren't as close. And it may have been just because he was so massive, so huge. There's a clip going around, and I can't show you the clips here, sadly. I wish I could. But there's a clip also that
She was just a little jealous there that he was becoming bigger than her.
And it's a really nice little clip.
And it's all right to be a little sibling rivalry.
They go in and you see her on a little laptop.
She was hating the fact that he was getting big.
The verses, and Janet says, I
I'm
can tell
wanting
Michael
that.
had something to say, and obviously that song had a lot to say about the state of the media and everything going after him, as they always were. I should note, since we're now talking about Michael, be careful out there. I don't want to give this too much credence, but there's a lot of tabloids, TMZ, etc., all Sun, all jumping in and trying to.
And then it goes on TMZ saying they always calling me. Calling me all kinds of names. She already said that before in the past. That Michael kid her like that.
But she's been very clear throughout her whole life here.
That he called her donk and everything for donkey and everything.
We understood each other.
I mean,
it doesn't seem like
brother teasing.
Disparage him in that way. Just open up a little bit. That sometimes.
I mean, we know that he picked on Janet for fun, you know.
Because be careful, of course.
Because I was his little sister, you know. Little sisters get picked on.
You know, the world we live in. She also reveals that her relationship with Renee Elizondo couldn't have been more different from her first marriage. High points is the personnel never before seen footage provided by second husband Renee, who spent 10 years documenting the relationship with the star. So a lot of that footage is there. One heartwarming scene in particular captures a dancer turned filmmaker's romantic proposal on a beach in Hawaii in 1987. James never proposed to me. He never gave me a ring or anything. So it was different with Elizondo. I wanted to be it, but I thought that every time. So he helped show a lot of footage.
But yeah, he went and cheated on her with her backup dancer,
Lewis, massively popular,
her choreographer or whatever.
Stuff,
Tina Liz. She did be Linden.
Apparently, there's a really intense scene in the recording booth where Janet unleashes, seemingly justifiably, what are you laughing about? Tell me what's wrong, Jimmy, she demands. You're sitting there laughing, I'm trying to get this right. You've got to tell me something, because it's like, I keep singing this over and over again, and you're not telling me what I need. As the camera pans down, argument escalates, with Jackson snapping, I've been singing all night, and you keep saying, I'm sick of it. And that's when James pipes in. There's no energy. You can hear that S from all the way from, and the way that it sounds, ain't no energy in the song. You're the singer. All you got to do is sing. We're trying to make a record. We're trying to follow up a big album. Jams bites back, leading Jackson to storm out of the studio with a flurry of threats that she's heading back to LA to scrap the album entirely. But they do say, they're all there, and they're acknowledging later that they've healed since then. I love the creative process. There's a lot of people that think I just come to the studio and sing a song, but I write lyrics, I write melodies. There were things in the world that concern me, things I wanted to say. People don't hear the same things at the same times, but that's just part of discovering, just understanding the process. Praise God that Janet found the groove with us. That's Terry Lewis saying it afterwards. So it's very clear that they're all fine and dandy, but that presence, created the art of
I
control.
mean, it's all old
having someone else
news.
that serious to help combat it. So there a lot. One more, number 10. There were 9 in there. You can count yourself. Number 10 is a bit of a spoiler. If you don't want the spoiler, there's a big revelation that's apparently leaked. There's a big surprise in this documentary. If you don't want to know,
Spoilers,
understood,
so
you can
turn
leave.
this off if
First,
you
hit that
want.
subscribe button,
want to
hit the bell for all alerts.
Let's see what the
like this.
spoiler
Smash that
is,
like button,
because
comment down below.
I've
But our final
known
reveal,
every single
allegedly,
thing.
it seems like Mr. Justin Timberlake is going to make an appearance in this documentary. Rumors are out there circulating that yes.
Yeah, the
he'll
only
take a
thing
part. It's a
when he's
surprise,
in the
later in the
documentary
documentary.
is him on the phone
We'll
asking
hear
her
Janet
to
talk about it,
freaking
as well
do
as
this
Justin
freaking
as a talking head
Super Bowl.
as
That's the
well.
only
So,
part
if you're
he's
both
gonna
there,
play a
finally
part in this.
acknowledging what happened together,
It's been played
that's gonna
over
be
and over and
massive
over again in
revelation
the
moment, obviously,
in the
if that proves true.
trailer and everything. He is
Now,
not.
real
I'm
quick,
sorry.
How do you watch this for free? How do you get there? How can you stream it? Where can you stream Janet online? It's only on Lifetime and A&E currently. It's really frustrating because you have to have a basic cable package. As I was going through looking at this myself, Rolling Stone put together a nice way. You have to have a package. So how do you do it? Well, you'll need a cable package that has Lifetime or A&E. There's specialty cable. It's not a major network. So you'll have to, you can't just get it on basic cable. You got to get DirecTV or Verizon Fios. If you have those, then you should be able to get it. So call your provider. You also could get Sling. Now, if you get Sling, it's $35 a month, but you can get Sling for a 3-day trial period. You can also, from what I'm told here, there's another sort of service. Again, I haven't used these services, but VidGo, VidGo. If you sign up for VidGo, you can also do that for a 7-day free trial. Therefore, you could sign up for one of these Sling, VidGo, sign up this weekend, get your free access, stream the Janet documentary, then either choose to keep that service or cancel it, and then therefore you got to stream Janet's documentary for free. That's how it works. How clever is that? Now I'm told you can also get it on Hulu Plus Live, which is a $70 a month service. However, if you have Hulu Plus Live TV service, you can get that. Sadly, I have YouTube TV, and you can't get Lifetime or A&E on that. So very frustrating how to access this documentary. I hope at some point they just sell it to Netflix or something so more people can watch it. Netflix, Amazon, any of the bigger streaming platforms, because this is not a good way to get the documentaries. I hope she got paid a lot of money, though. And support her. Don't need to do it illegally. But if you want to at least do one of these free options, therefore you can do it the proper way. But there you go. That's all the information on this new documentary, Janet, premiering tonight and tomorrow. We'll be giving you more updates on this documentary as it comes out. So stay tuned here on Popcorn Planet. Thank you guys so much for watching.
I was just checking on my Hulu. Let's see if I could get it. I mean, ugh. It's old news. She's saying shit that she said in the past. I mean, come on. I know half the shit that she's gonna say. I mean, it makes me laugh. I mean, seriously. I mean, it's really, really dumb how people are blowing all this. Oh, it's new news that Janet saying no. I don't have a new job. Have old job from James. No, it's old news. If you're a Texas fan, you've heard half of this before, even more. All right. So I don't know whether to watch it or not because I've heard some of these things that are coming out. I mean, Latoya said it, Janet said it in the past. I mean, I don't know. I don't know whether to watch it or not. I mean, I'm a fan. I mean, I want to know, but then there's part of me that's like, I've heard half of the shit that's already coming out. And it's not news. I'm sorry, it's just not news to me. I mean, I've heard this in the past, all the news that are coming out, and they're just pushing old news. I mean,
You've been very private about your personal life up until now. Why did you want to do this documentary?
It's just something that needs to be done.
Who is Janet Jackson?
Ooh, Janet Jackson's.
and she's taken
Many.
from Michael's book because he did something like this with Number Ones or something like that. I know he did something like this when he was alive, right before he died, where he had celebrities talk about him and stuff like that. And she's taking. I'm sorry, but just something about this screams that Michael did this already.
She's an empowered woman. She's a legend.
She's a blueprint.
She is a warrior, the greatest show woman.
She's literally done it all. She is a lot of the image that is out today. Janet is very private.
For her to want to open up, I'm flabbergasted.
This is where it started. You know, Father, he had a vision to get us out of Gary.
He gave up his fatherhood to get them in the business.
The Jackson side.
There were times when I just didn't understand where I actually fit in.
We all knew you had trouble fitting
He
in.
was very strict.
We all knew he was strict.
He was in charge of my life, my career.
We all knew that.
You're gonna say. That means I have to start being independent.
The most important thing was for her to take that stage and own it.
It's just as I that no one has ever seen. This is amazing. Seeing Janet as a mother warms my heart.
Who are you closest to in the family?
Brandy and Mike.
Mother, how do you feel talking about Mike?
I can't.
That breaks my heart. Seeing her like that. I can't see Michael's mother like that. It just breaks me.
It was a magic relationship. If it didn't.
And what kind of woman person films their mother getting upset and being interviewed time and time again about her son's passing? I mean,
Won't be giving up on love.
I'm sorry. That to me just makes me hate her a little bit. Her pushing that in her face, her own mother's face.
No, listen to this. I don't need this. I'm going home.
I mean, enough is enough. Haven't we put this poor woman through enough?
Guilty by association. Because that's what they call it, right? They build you up. And then once you get there, they're so quick to tear you down.
Justin and his team would have been trying to contact us about you doing the Super Bowl.
I wouldn't do it with him.
And welcome, Miss Janet Jackson.
Janet will never quit.
I know I wouldn't do it because he never apologized to Janet, really. You know. She apologized and she got blacklisted. He didn't apologize and he didn't get no blacklisted. I mean, I'm sorry. I would snub his ass. I'm sorry.
One of the most successful artists in Billboard history.
Janet has 18 consecutive top 10 hits, the most by any female artist in history.
Janet Jackson is a living legend.
A legend is innovative, daring, lasting. A legend changes the face of the industry.
She's just an unbelievable legend and such a talent, somebody that I really, really look up to.
Rhythm Nation was a huge inspiration for like my first single went out like a couple years ago. And she was just like, just her whole like aura, just I think inspires so many young women and so many young artists.
My biggest influence growing up was Janet Jackson.
When I was growing up, there was no Rihanna, there was no Beyonce, there was Janet Jackson. And she's just a pioneer in the music industry. And I'm sure those girls would say it too, like, well, we all looked up to her. And, you know, she'll always have it. She'll always be Janet Jackson or Miss Jackson. It get nasty.
When I saw the Pleasure Principle, it inspired me to get into this business.
You have achieved so much and will only keep climbing higher and higher. Your talent knows no boundaries. I love you, and I am honored and proud to be your brother.
I love her. Bow down. Yes. She's great. She's really good. Rhythm Nation. Oh God, I still listen to that.
I loved Janet Jackson when I was growing up.
Miss Jackson, if you're nasty.
One of my favorite things as a kid was like Rhythm Nation.
She can act, she can dance, she can sing, and she's a Jackson. She got it all.
To this day, still touring, still singing, still looking fabulous.
A better measure of her influence and staying power is the effect you continue to see her have on other performers. She has constantly and consistently driven the culture forward. That is Janet.
We had no idea that this woman would become Janet Jackson.
She's a very domineering and dictatorial father.
I thought I can't be the only young adult in this world that is experiencing these feelings. My father worked in the steel. He was a crane operator. He was a hard worker. And my father did whatever it took to feed his children. Gary is rough. He's rough. And he didn't want his kids on the street. He didn't want his kids doing drugs. He didn't want his kids being alcoholics. My father wanted a better life for us. And he saw performing as our way out.
Musically speaking, did you study a lot before this
To be
record?
honest with you, no, I didn't. When I was younger, for 1 month, I took piano lessons and I quit because my brother Randy quit, and I didn't want to take loans. I just started playing by ear, and that's how that came together. I was 2 years old. My brothers had their first #1, which was their first single, "I Want You Back," and I just grew up being in the business, and I learned a lot just by watching. So many kids in the house, and from country to blues to classical to jazz and
That's right.
R&B
He
and
talks about
pop
all
and
this in
folk.
the documentary.
All that stuff was going throughout the house. So I'm so happy that I recognize the child to be bombarded with all of this in such a great way that it has filtered into my songwriting. They obviously saw something.
I mean, if you're
new
gonna do a documentary,
never
do something with, that's new.
that I could do this, that I wouldn't freeze up, that I wouldn't get stage
Who cares about old news? I'm sorry. I'm tired of hearing old news.
fright. Forward.
What's your name, little sister?
Janet.
How do you like being a part of Jackson 5?
I like it.
What do you do?
Sing and dance.
It was sad for me when my brothers would go on tour because the house was empty and it was just my mother and my sister and myself. And I was very close to my brothers.
Very early on, we saw that she had a very clear idea about doing something different for herself.
Yes, the beat goes on.
I was doing the Jackson's television summer specials, and it just so happens that Norman Lear, who did Sanford and Son, All in the Family, Jeffersons, I mean, so many Good Times, so many different shows. Maude happened to see me, and they needed to cast a young girl. They called me in for an interview, and we did this improv, and he loved the way that it went. It got very emotional. I didn't know what I was doing. I was just going with what I felt, I guess, in my gut. And as I was walking out of the building, he said, if you want to have the part, you can, it's yours. So that's how I was just 10 years old.
She's pretty much grown up as pop royalty from the day she was born. And so I think people don't always understand how much credit she has to be given for her real acting chops at a very young age.
It became a big success with Black people and white people because the concept was universal. Because it really was just about love.
I want to meet my sister Kimberly and my little brother. From what I'm hearing, Todd had a crush on me, and that's how I got the job.
When I got her on the show, the plan was, for me to start dating her. That was my plan.
He wanted me to be his girlfriend in the show, so I was his girlfriend in the show.
Well, we were definitely had a natural attraction towards one another.
I was shocked to see my little sister growing up so fast. She did like a little love scene where she had a little kissing role in there. It was hard for me to see that.
Janet, it was my first love. And I still love Janet. I always will. She has a special place in my heart.
I've watched my brothers all through the years, and I've learned a lot from them. Plus, we have a studio at home, and when I was younger, I used to write a great deal. Just go in whenever we felt like it, and put a little dinner down.
Excuse me.
I wanted my own identity so bad.
Mind me.
I didn't want people to know that I was a Jackson.
Would have been balanced for about a week.
In the very, very beginning, it's just a matter of going to the studio, doing what they want you to do, and then we leave, and that's it.
But beneath her bubblegum image was a shy young woman who had struggled with a childhood in the limelight, where decisions were made for her. A Janet still recovering from the shattering end of an early marriage. A Janet who, at 18, needed desperately to break free and become her own person.
When I got with Jim and Terry,
And this was back, saying that back when they were doing that type of freaking document. Come on now. Old nude. Old news. I'm sorry. Old news, old news, old news, old news, old news. If anything new comes up, I'll be in touch.